Dumb, Cool
Weird
Podcast. Welcome to the Dumb, Cool, Weird Podcast. We just watched Phantasm.
It was fucking dumb.
Yeah, it was...
It was rough to watch, okay? It was the low budget Return of the Living Dead meets Hellraiser.
Yeah, it's definitely very strange with a lot of weird, rushed science fiction elements there, too.
Yeah, it wasn't sure if it wanted to be a paranormal movie or if it wanted to be a science fiction film, but then a zombie film.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. You know, it's funny, like, little story about this movie is years ago when I was a kid back in the 90s, I walked into a video store with my dad, and it was the local video store over in Dawsonville, so it was not a Blockbuster. It was that old, stale-smelling video store.
It had the beads in the back that brought you to the porn collection of the old man.
I'm pretty sure it did.
Your dad was like, yeah, Wes, go pick out a movie. I got some important business behind the beads.
Yeah, and it's funny because we walked over there, and he was looking at stuff, and I was looking at stuff, and I saw just this video cassette sitting up on the shelf, and it was that fucking tall man with that little metal orb thing he uses in the movie, and he was making that face where it looked like he's having a stroke, and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
It really does have that smile that gives you a stroke.
Yeah, and so I watched it, and my dad asked me later on after I watched it, he said, what'd you think of it? And I was like, I'm confused. I have no idea what's going on in this movie. And I thought maybe it's because I had that sense of like not understanding because I was a kid, but after watching this again with Nick, I have no idea what the fuck's going on in this movie.
I mean, you made it sound like it was a completely different movie from what you watched back in the 90s. We watched it again.
Yep.
This is my first time, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's just fucking weird. I mean, it starts off with a sex scene in the cemetery. This has got to be the weirdest missionary position, cowgirl riding session I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then he turns into the old man and stabs Billy.
And he's dead.
Yeah, everyone had some fucked up teeth. I'm glad that we really went past the dental work of the 70s.
Yeah, we kind of moved on from that. And basically, you could summarize this movie into one thing. It's basically this kid is suspicious of this funeral home, and his brother just wants to get laid at first
and
run
on
away.
Him off.
He wants to run away
to his aunt. Yeah,
and the whole time this shit's going on, basically we get this cat and mouse between this tall man and the little kid.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a guy who sells ice cream with a skullet.
Yeah, his name is Reggie, which is actually his real name in real life. Turns out after looking into the movie, the director actually wrote that part for his buddy, who's actually named Reggie. I'm not even joking.
Yep. He has the ice cream truck. He has the most wholesome and realistic job for the 70s.
Yeah. And Reggie and the older brother, looks like they're trying to start a band, and they just don't.
Billy was a drummer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Billy was a drummer. And they're just, they don't believe the little brother. The little brother, sees the tall man pick up Billy's coffin, with just fucking raw dog it, picks it up.
like 500-pound coffin.
Yep, didn't even give a shit. And we get to see basically what ends up happening to these people when the tall man takes them. Basically, he turns them into midgets.
Yeah, they're like little Jawas.
They're Jawas, and yeah, they're Jawas. That's really what they are. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if those props... Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if those props were actually taken from the Star Wars movie, because that's actually...
Everyone was dressed like Indiana Jones and Han Solo, too.
Yeah, it's really weird. And, yeah, so basically the whole movie is they're just trying to figure out what this tall man's up to, and, he
try to kill him.
Try to kill him. He has an orb that he shoots at people that has blades in it.
Yeah, it really... it was funny, though, when the janitor... knows the groundskeeper gets struck right in the face the first time you ever find one of these orbs. And, at first it's like, oh wow, he's got 3 prongs in his face. Then it drills into his skull,
and then squirts blood.
Squirts all of the fluids out of his head, like a period blood orgasm.
And then he pisses himself.
Yeah, and the worst part is you see him twitching on the ground as he's pissing himself.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking bad.
It's pretty graphic.
Yeah, it's pretty graphic. One of the things that was also interesting about this movie is because of the editing, the plot is really bizarre. And, I can't tell if it was just the director was having trouble or if it was just seriously just was his vision for the movie.
Well, anything's better than King Kung Fu in terms of editing.
I don't think anything's going to be as bad as King Kung Fu. I mean, we keep coming back to that movie. I don't think anything will ever
Okay.
be that bad.
For a while, though, we were on a streak of just watching really good movies. I mean, we still got to go back and rewatch all of the Hercules series for way back Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So that's going to be our saving grace. But, we're about to torture ourselves for a full month watching all of these sequels.
Yeah, so we're going to watch the Phantasm sequels to kind of, because, we're invested in the story already, because we watched the trailers after watching this for those movies, and every trailer basically starts off by explaining to you what a phantasm is.
Yeah, and until the fourth and fifth one.
Yeah.
Then they just gave up. It's like they knew the first three movies.
But we're definitely excited, sort of, for these.
It's kind of like that bad movie you can't stop watching. It's like a Steven Seagal flick.
Yeah.
He's skinny to fat. The man still can't act.
Yeah.
That's why he lives in Russia, where he won't be charged for sex crimes.
There you go. But basically, to summarize this movie just as quickly as possible, all it really is they chase after the tall man. The tall man comes after them. He sicks his Jawas on him. You think Reggie dies. Reggie doesn't die. His truck gets flipped over, and then
He's alive.
And then they get attacked in a car by Jawas.
Yeah, and those two blondes that they never gave us any real understanding who they were, what the relation was to the family. It was like the black maid, right?
Yeah.
In the house. She just shows up. Oh, are you boys done for the day? And you're just like, where the fuck did you come from?
Yep. And that's another thing about this movie. Because of the editing, there was parts of this movie where something would happen, and then you'd be like, what's going on? And all of a sudden the character would just pop up again, and then nothing is addressed. Literally, the older brother pulls out the sarcophagus, opens it up, and there's nothing, he doesn't see anything in there. And then it cuts back to the little brother. He opens it up, and then he meets nothing, and then he meets up with his older brother again, and they're just like,
they shoot one of the orbs.
Yeah, they shoot one of the orbs, but he's like, I saw something, but I'm not going to talk about it. And they're just like, okay.
Well, and here's the thing. Then they accidentally go to their universe after touching the tuning fork dimension.
Yeah, so it turns out it's aliens.
It's aliens, but also a phantom.
Yeah, it's really weird. Literally, the little brother, the biggest fucking bullshit ass pull on your you can ever think about. The little brother's like, oh, that must be their planet where the gravity is higher, so that's why they have to turn them into dwarfs.
Yeah,
and then
it's hot.
And it's hot, and it's like,
the fuck does that have to do with anything? All I know is that these aliens are just demons, interdimensional demons.
Something.
Alex Jones talks about them quite a bit.
Yeah. What's funny though is they also bleed mustard. Yeah, mustard.
Yeah, humans bleed ketchup. Alien demon creatures bleed mustard.
Yep, and they take his finger, and then the finger gets trapped in a box and
becomes a beetle.
Yeah, beetle fly thing, and they have to kill it. And what's really funny is there's a scene where they're sitting outside, and he shows his older brother the finger, and he looks at him and goes, "You know what? I believe you."
I believe you. Yeah, you just got this prop finger and some mustard.
Yeah,
it's you can't really make that shit up.
Yeah, what's funny too is at the very, once they get to the end where they're trying to, so they come up with a plan to try to lure the tall man into these abandoned mines, and the little brother is supposed to stay at home, but then he ends up coming out anyway, and he
he was also attacked at the house.
Yeah,
by the tall man who was like, "I've been waiting for you,
boy." And so they end up. It's actually really funny. They end up going. He ends up getting chased, and when he's getting chased by the tall man, he turns into the hot girl with the knife again, and he gets trapped in some quicksand, and then they end up going to the mine, and then the brother somehow knows to knock these giant boulders over. Which, by the way, how the fuck did he do that?
He couldn't. I mean, this is the part where it's crazy too. Is when you find out after that they're sitting in front of the fire with Reggie, who was stabbed in a scene prior.
It was all a dream. Remember?
Yeah, it was all a dream. Your older brother was nothing. Your older brother has nothing to do with with that tall man. He died in a car accident. Let's get away from this place.
Yep.
Grown man talking to a teenager.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah, we'll get in the car and we'll go somewhere.
And basically, it ends with him going up and packing his bag, and then he gets attacked by the tall man, and then like some kind of
Zombies.
zombie monster,
Deadites.
deadite, grabs him, pulls him in the closet, and that's the end of the movie.
You know, and that let's get on to this, all right? Because we saw the other trailers.
Mm.
Half of the bad guys are deadites, Jawas, and fucking what are the ones from deadites are from Evil Dead.
Yep.
I was trying to think of the other ones, and some of them look like Cenobites.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of all over the place. I mean, the fact is, like, it's hard, we can't really know what's really going on, because if it was all just a dream, all that stuff could have been just in his imagination, right?
Yeah, but then the other Phantasm movies prove that this is not a dream.
Yeah, and it's very interesting to see how that goes.
We're kind of excited, kind of regretting this.
Yep. And let's talk about the dumb, cool, and the weird. What was dumb about this movie? I know this is going to be pretty easy.
Wow, I mean, really,
Just the whole thing.
the fucking Jawas.
Yeah.
The concept of the Jawas is the fucking dumbest thing I've ever seen.
They're slaves.
They're slaves, but they need to crush their bodies down because of the gravity and the heat. Oh, and then let's not mention that their dimension runs like a tuning fork.
Yeah, let's also bring up the fact that these characters are fucking stupid. They just keep like going and doing things without actually bringing backup half the time.
Yeah, there's not one cop in this whole town.
Whole town.
Because they are unloading, they're just like shooting randomly throughout this whole freaking neighborhood.
Yeah.
Getting into high-speed chases. I mean, the tall man blew up once.
Yep, he did in a fucking car. By the way, that's fucking dumb. Literally, the fucking car is driving, and he shoots out the tire, jumps out the back. He barely hits a pole and explodes.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what else is dumb? Let's go back to that rock scene. How the fuck did he push those rocks over with his bare hands? There's no way.
Yeah, no, that there's no way. There weren't even that many rocks up there for him to push down. Like, it would have made sense, if there was like one boulder
Yeah.
and it goes down there.
Yeah, but he pushed all those boulders down. So fucking stupid.
But wait a minute. He's interdimensional. He's been proven to come back after being blown up, having his fingers cut off. Like, multiple shit that they've done to this tall man, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that this is going to really stop him?
Nope. I don't think so. So then let's talk about the cool. What was cool about this movie?
Wow, that's going to be a hard one.
The guns were cool.
The guns were cool. The 1911, the fucking a 12-gauge shotgun, the fact that they looked like they had a Springfield up there, which is never getting used.
I like that knife the kid had too.
Oh yeah, like that old Rambo survival knife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are popular at Bass Pro Shop. Very nice.
Yep, and I'm pretty sure that was the only cool thing about
That
this
was a
movie.
nice 1911,
Mm.
but damn, he put so many bullets in that dwarf.
Yeah, didn't take him out at all.
45 ACP. No. Let's talk about something else that was fucking that was kind of dumb real quick, all right? When
Sure.
that dwarf is attacking his brother Jody, right? And he's got him in a chokehold. He pulls out his gun and just kind of like does that one of these like really close to his head to clip the fucking thing in the head.
Mm-hmm.
With that, it's like you almost shot yourself, stupid.
Yeah.
Like what? Like no point are you thinking? Maybe I should try to like. No, I'm just gonna do this. Look at me, Wes. Safety.
Safety. Yeah. As you can tell, folks, there's more dumb about this movie than there are cool. But now we're going to move on to the weird, and there's a lot to talk about there.
We'll talk about the weird. Was the guy who was the groundskeeper also immortal? Or was he just some guy, like deranged guy that he hired? Because, he was pretty cool with him getting killed.
I'm pretty sure he was just some random guy that he hired. But what I thought was the weirdest part was that whole fucking plot about them being aliens, dude. That came the fuck out of nowhere, dude.
You know what? Let's go back to the psychics. When he goes to the psychic, right? They have like a whole Dune like situation going on where like, put your hand in the box.
Oh.
Oh, it hurts. It was only fear. It was only fear. You didn't have to be afraid of it.
What was really weird about that is like she just like randomly goes to the fucking house and like to
And
that
dies.
and dies. Yeah, and we don't hear anything else about that. And the grandma's a fucking bitch, you know,
Yeah, she doesn't say anything. It's like,
until the end when she starts laughing.
yeah, like because like, ha, fucking dumbass kid. Smoke and mirrors, nerd.
Smoke and mirrors. But yeah, that's pretty much the Phantasm. There's not really much to it.
There's a lot of dumb.
Yeah, a lot of dumb in this movie.
I mean,
and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of dumb in the next one, too.
Yeah, but the next one looks like it has a higher budget.
Yeah. I mean, people must have watched this film. I mean, that's the only reason sequels get made, although it did take them 10 years to make another one.
You know, that conversation must have been great. Hey, remember when we made that movie Phantasm? Yeah, you mean that shithole? Yeah, let's do it again. Huh, I got nothing else going on.
Reggie's like, sure, I'm in.
I'm in. I haven't acted in a while.
And then they're like, I'm Reggie, I'm not surprised.
Have you tried maybe getting a haircut? You know, try doing anything different than the skullet.
I like the skullet.
Yeah, let's get on to in the next one we're gonna see a quadruple barrel shotgun.
Yep.
But not like a nicely put together one. It's like somebody really jerry-rigged this thing together.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I'm looking forward to it. But that was the Phantasm. We got all we're gonna do all 4 of the movies. There's a 5th movie. We'll probably save that one for another time if we can.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, so it looks like it has the budget of like, you know, like a film school or something. But anyway, that was Phantasm.
It's probably made by the people from our university.
Probably so. All right. You'll sign us out.
Stay sexy, Atlanta.
Thanks for watching the Dumb, Cool, Weird podcast, where we cover some of your favorite movies in 20 minutes or less for your convenience. We go over what is dumb, cool, and weird about movies, and check out our Way Back Wednesdays we do sometimes for other stuff. And please share us with your friends.